What I'm about to reveal to you has been hidden in plain sight for over 3,000 years. It's been locked away, not in some dusty vault or forgotten temple, but right there in the Torah, disguised, veiled, waiting for those who have eyes to see and ears to hear. This single verse, this one line of ancient Hebrew text, has been called forbidden by certain religious circles, not because it's evil, not because it's dangerous, but because when you understand its true power, when you unlock the code hidden within its letters, it becomes a spiritual magnet that pulls wealth, abundance, and divine favor directly into your life. I've seen billionaires whisper this verse in their morning prayers. I've watched struggling families rise from poverty to prosperity within months of activating its energy. And I've witnessed the transformation happen so fast, so powerfully, that even I, a rabbi who has studied these mysteries for decades, still stand in awe of what the Creator embedded into this sacred text. But here's what terrifies me. 99% of people will scroll past this video. They'll dismiss it as superstition. They'll never know that the very thing they've been searching for, financial freedom, security, peace of mind, was always one verse away. So if you're still here, if something inside you is stirring, if you feel that divine pull, then you are meant to hear this. Because today, everything changes. Before we go any deeper, I need to ask you something, and I want you to answer honestly in your heart. What do you fear the most about money? Is it the fear that no matter how hard you work, you'll never have enough? Is it the terror of watching your children struggle the way you did? Is it the shame of feeling left behind while others prosper? Or is it the quiet, aching feeling that maybe, just maybe, abundance wasn't meant for you? Hold that feeling. Don't push it away. Because what I'm about to share will shatter that fear forever. If you're here for the first time, welcome to a community of seekers, believers, and those who refuse to settle for a life of limitation. Subscribe now, because each week we unlock ancient wisdom that the world has forgotten. This is where transformation begins. Now, let's step into the mystery. The verse I'm about to share with you comes from the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 8, verse 18. But to understand its power, we must first go back, way back, to the time when Moses stood before the children of Israel in the wilderness. Picture this: 40 years of wandering, 40 years of manna falling from heaven, 40 years of divine provision where no one planted, no one harvested, yet everyone ate. The people had been sustained by miracles, but now they were about to enter the promised land, a place where they would have to work, build, sow, and reap. And Moses knew something. He knew the human heart. He knew that once they tasted wealth, once they built their houses and filled their storehouses, they would forget. They would look at their hands and say, "I did this, my power, my strength." So before they crossed over, Moses gave them a warning wrapped in a blessing. He spoke words that would echo through eternity, words that would become the key to attracting wealth while remaining connected to the source of all wealth. He said, "V'zakarta et yiva Elohecha ki havahanoten lekachoha la'ashvot hayil." In English, it translates to, "But you shall remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you power to get wealth." Read it again, slowly. It is He who gives you power to get wealth, not the wealth itself, the power. This is where most people miss it. They pray for money. They beg for a miracle. They want the fish, but God wants to teach you how to fish with supernatural ability. Now let's go deeper. In Kabbalah, every Hebrew letter carries a frequency, a vibration, an energetic signature. The word for power in this verse is coach. Coach doesn't just mean physical strength. It means potential energy. It means the divine capacity that exists before the action. It's the spark inside you that, when ignited, becomes unstoppable. The sages teach that when you activate coach, you align yourself with the channel through which divine abundance flows. You stop being a beggar at heaven's door and become a co-creator with the Almighty. But here's the secret that makes this verse forbidden in some circles. It places the responsibility and the power in your hands. You see, religion often teaches people to be passive, wait for God, pray and hope. But this verse says, God has already given you the power. The question is, are you using it? When you meditate on this verse, when you speak it in Hebrew, when you write it and place it where you can see it, you activate an ancient spiritual technology. You're not asking for wealth. You're remembering that the power to create it is already inside you. The verse begins with, V'zacharta, and you shall remember. Why does it start with remembering? Because forgetting is the root of poverty consciousness. When you forget that God is the source, you start operating from fear. You hoard, you panic, you make decisions from lack instead of abundance, and the universe mirrors that energy back to you. But when you remember, when you wake up every morning and say, The creator of the universe has given me the power to attract wealth. Something shifts. Your energy changes. Your decisions change. The opportunities you notice change. This is the magnetic principle. Wealth is not just attracted by action, it's attracted by alignment. And alignment begins with remembering who you are and whose you are. The Kabbalists teach that there are two types of people in the world, those who believe they are separate from the source and those who know they are channels of the source. The first group struggles, the second group flows. Which one are you? Now, let me give you the practical steps to activate this verse in your life. Write the verse in Hebrew. Don't just type it. Write it by hand. There's something about the physical act of writing sacred text that imprints it into your soul. Place it somewhere you'll see it every single day. Your bathroom mirror, your wallet, your workspace. Speak it out loud every morning. Say it in Hebrew if you can. If not, say it in English, but say it with intention. Say it like you believe it. Say it like you're reminding yourself of a truth that the world tried to make you forget. Meditate on the word coach. Sit in silence. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply. And feel the power, the divine potential, awakening inside you. See it as a golden light filling your chest, radiating outward. Take one bold action. Faith without action is dead. After you meditate, do something that aligns with wealth. Make that call. Send that email. Invest in yourself. Launch that project. The power is activated through movement. Here's the uncomfortable truth. This verse threatens the religious establishment. Why? Because it puts spiritual power back into the hands of the individual. For centuries, institutions have controlled people by making them feel small, unworthy, dependent. You're a sinner, you're broken, only we can connect you to God. But this verse says, God has already given you the power. You don't need a middleman, you don't need permission, you need to remember. That's dangerous to systems built on control. That's why some rabbis won't teach it. That's why some religious leaders gloss over it, because once people realize they have divine power to create wealth, to shape their destiny, to live abundantly, they can't be controlled anymore. And so it was quietly buried, not officially banned, but culturally suppressed, until now. Finally, understand this: wealth is not the enemy of spirituality. Poverty is not holiness. God doesn't want you broken. He wants you prosperous and powerful so you can be a blessing to others. When you use this verse correctly, wealth becomes an act of worship. Every dollar you earn is a testimony to the power God placed inside you. Every success is a declaration, I am a channel of divine abundance. And when you prosper, you lift others. You fund dreams. You change lives. You become a living example of what's possible when you align with heaven's blueprint. This is the ultimate secret of the verse. It's not about greed, it's about stewardship. God gives you the power to create wealth so you can partner with Him in blessing the world. Let me tell you about David. David was a successful entrepreneur in his 40s, built a thriving business, beautiful home, loving family. Then the market crashed. Within 6 months, he lost it all. The business folded, the house was foreclosed, his marriage was hanging by a thread. He came to me broken, ashamed, convinced that God had abandoned him. I looked him in the eye and said, David, you didn't lose your power, you only forgot it. I gave him this verse. I told him to write it, to speak it, to meditate on it every single morning before he did anything else. He thought I was crazy, but he was desperate, so he did it. Within 2 weeks, an old business contact reached out with an opportunity. Within 2 months, David had a consulting contract that paid more than his old business ever did. Within a year, he had rebuilt everything, and more. When I saw him recently, he had tears in his eyes. He said, Rabbi, I didn't just get my wealth back, I got my soul back. I remembered who I was. The woman who lived in scarcity. Her name was Sarah, and she had been raised in poverty. Her parents were poor, her grandparents were poor. Poverty was her inheritance, her identity. She worked 3 jobs just to survive. She never had enough, and deep down she believed she never would. When she heard about this verse, she was skeptical, but something inside her whispered, try it. So she wrote it on a card and carried it in her purse. Every time she felt fear about money, she would pull it out and read it. God has given me the power to create wealth. At first it felt like a lie, but she kept saying it. Then something miraculous happened. She noticed an opportunity she had been blind to before, a small investment, a side project, something her old mindset would have dismissed as not for people like me. But now something had shifted. She took the leap. That small investment grew. The side project turned into a full-time business. Within 3 years, Sarah was financially free. But the real transformation wasn't the money, it was the breaking of the generational curse. She looked at her daughter one day and realized, she'll never know the poverty I knew. The cycle is broken. The family trapped in fear. There was a family, a father, mother, and 2 young children, living paycheck to paycheck. Every month was a battle, every bill was a source of anxiety. The father, Michael, was a good man, hard worker, but no matter how hard he worked, they stayed stuck. One Sabbath, he came to the synagogue desperate. After the service, I pulled him aside and shared this verse with him. I told him, "Teach this to your children. Let them hear you speak it every morning. Let them see you believe it." Michael went home and gathered his family. He explained the verse in simple terms his kids could understand. God gave Daddy power to make money. We just have to remember it. They made it a family ritual. Every morning at breakfast, they would say it together. Here's what happened. The kids started believing it. They stopped absorbing their parents' fear. They started living with expectation. And Michael? His confidence grew. He asked for a promotion and got it. He started a side business, and it thrived. But the most beautiful part was watching his 8-year-old daughter. One day she found a coin on the ground and said, "See, Daddy? God is reminding us He gives us power for wealth." That family didn't just change their bank account, they changed their legacy. But I don't know Hebrew. Can this still work for me? Listen to me carefully. The power is not in your pronunciation. The power is in your belief and your alignment. Yes, Hebrew carries a unique frequency. Yes, the original language has deeper layers, but God hears the intention of your heart more than the accent of your tongue. Speak it in English, write it in your language. What matters is that you activate the truth of the verse in your life. What if I've failed so many times? What if this doesn't work for me? Your past does not define your future. Every failure was preparation. Every setback was a setup. This verse is not a magic spell. It's a reminder of who you already are. The power is already inside you. You're not asking God for something new. You're waking up to what He already gave you. And here's the promise. The moment you truly remember, everything shifts. What if I'm not spiritual enough? What if I'm not worthy? Stop. Right there. Worthiness is not the issue. You were made in the image of God. That alone makes you worthy. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being willing. It's about taking one step, one day, one decision at a time. God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. You are reading this right now because you were meant to. That's not an accident. That's divine appointment. Now, let me give you something deeper. A secret within the secret. The verse says God gives you power to get wealth. In Hebrew, the word get is la'ashvot, la'asot, which literally means to make or to do. This is the advanced key. You are not a passive receiver. You are an active creator. God doesn't drop wealth into your lap. He awakens the creative power inside you to make it, to build it, to attract it through aligned action. This is the divine technology of co-creation. When you combine this verse with action, bold, faithful, aligned action, you become unstoppable. Here's the practice. Every night before you sleep, ask yourself, what did I create today? What did I build today? What action did I take that aligned with the power inside me? If the answer is nothing, don't beat yourself up. Just commit to doing better tomorrow. But if you did something, anything, celebrate it. Because you're activating the verse, you're living the truth. Here's your challenge, and I want you to commit to it right now. For the next 30 days, do this every single morning. Write the verse, in Hebrew or English, in a journal. Speak it out loud 3 times with intention. Meditate on the word coach, power, for 5 minutes. Take one wealth-aligned action that day, no matter how small. It could be researching an investment, making a sales call, learning a new skill, asking for a raise, starting that project you've been putting off. One action, every day, for 30 days, and watch what happens. Watch how opportunities start appearing. Watch how your mindset shifts. Watch how doors that were closed suddenly swing open. This is not theory. This is spiritual technology that has been tested for 3,000 years. Will you accept the challenge? My dear friend, we've come to the end of this teaching, but this is truly just the beginning for you. I want you to close your eyes for a moment, breathe deeply, and receive this blessing. May the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob open the windows of heaven over your life. May He awaken the divine power that has been sleeping inside you. May every doubt be silenced, every fear be shattered, every limitation be broken. May you walk in the fullness of the promise that He has given you the power to create wealth, to build abundance, to live a life of freedom and purpose. May your hands be blessed in all they touch. May your mind be illuminated with divine ideas. May your heart overflow with gratitude and generosity. And may you become a living testimony, a walking miracle, so that others see you and say, if God did it for them, He can do it for me. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are chosen. You are empowered. You are destined for greatness. Now go, remember, act, and watch the heavens respond. Shalom.